and I'm 10 years old. I'm 10 years old. I'm co-founder of 10xotherkids.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. Share this video, comment it down below if you like it, and subscribe my channel. So today's video, I'm here with another exciting coding video, and today we are gonna code Palindrome. So our objective is that we have to find if a string provided by the user is a palindrome or not. We have to check we have to take the user input and from the user and check if it is a palindrome or not. Okay. Now, if you don't know what is a palindrome, I'll tell you. Palindrome is a word, a phrase, or a sequence that reads the same, that reads the same things from backwards as forwards. For example, madam or nurses run. Now, let me tell you, I love me a good palindrome because it's like madam. If you read it from the front, like normal you do, M-A-D-A-M, madam. Okay, it's madam. Now, if you read it from backwards, so M-A-D-A-M, madam. So now, which words or sentence, or a sequence or a phrase, which is the same from front to read from the front and from back. Now, if you take nurses run, then nurses run, then if you read it from front, it is nurses run. But if you reverse it and read it from backwards, then it is also nurses run. Okay. So now let's move on. So now we are saying that this program, what I have coded, it is work for only single words. Like if you give a space, right? If you give a space, it's not gonna work. Or if there are multiple words, then of course you will give a space, so that's not gonna work. Or if you give a sentence, it is not gonna work. So I have 4 methods I have made. So yeah, so let me first do the first method, right? Let me just unreveal it. This is a very easy method and you should learn it very easily. What was it? And slash. Okay, so why is my mouse dot? Okay, it's working. Okay, let me just do you guys over here. So first we're taking a user input from the user that it should enter a string which should be only a single word. Alright, now we are making a list which name is user input as list, right? And basically whatever the user has given the word, it has converted it into if they give a word that is obviously gonna be a string, right? As a string, the type would be string. So now we are converting it into a list, okay, by using the list constructor, and we are saving that list in user input as list. Okay, now we are doing user input as list dot reverse. Okay, so what the user had given, the string that the user has given, which we converted into list, we reversed it. Okay, now we are making a variable flag which value is 0. Now we give a for loop for x in range length user input. So whatever word the user gives, we are taking a length of that and we are giving it range. So basically it will make that length into list. For example, the length is 5, so it would make a list like 0 1 2 3 4, right? Now in this for loop is if user input x, like first in the list it's it is always 0, right? So if user input x, basically this is like to use, it is used for the index. So basically the index number which is on the element which is on the 0th index, if it is not equals to the user input as list x. So user input as list x. So now x. So that reverse list, if you remember, like and that basically. Wait, let me get a pen and a pencil. Give me a second. My pen and a paper was right with me because I knew I had to tell you because you would just not understand. Very bad. Okay. So for example, the user gives madam, right? So in the reversed list, it was also madam, right? So if the user had given madam, right? So in that reverse list, it would also be madam, right? So wait, I'll make you small again. So for x in range length, so user input x. So basically on the 0th index, so on the 0th index is n. And now user input as list. So basically the reverse list, right? For 0th index element. So it is m and n, right? So the element which was on the 0th element, the string, this was on the 0th element, m was on the 0th element, and in the reverse list also m was the 0th on the 0th index, right? So now if it's saying if they are not equal, if they are not the same, so this if statement is false because right now there is m and n, so it does not go in the if statement. Now it says if flag is equals to 0, so yeah, we in the flags, oops, sorry, my bad, I mean my bad, then it would go once again in the for loop, right? And it would keep on repeating this loop, right? Now for this pen now if the user had given san, okay, wait, right. So if the user had given san, right, and in the reverse list it would be NAS, right? So the 0th element of the string will be S, right? But in the reverse list it would be N. Now S and N are not the same. they're not equals to each other, right? So at this situation, it would go inside the for loop, right? So the if statement, my bad. So it says in the if statement that now make the flag's value from 0 to 1 and break, come out of the for loop, right? Okay, now if flag is equals to 0, in the madam condition, the flag's value we did not change, right? So it so it would go inside the if statement and it would print yes, it is palindrome. Let me show you. Madam, see, it's showing yes, it is palindrome. But in the sad condition, we had changed the list. We had changed the flag's value to 1 because they were not the same, right? The zeros in text. So it's getting no, it's not palindrome, right? Did you understand this? I hope so. So let me comment this up, right? Now let's move on to our method 2. Let me just give me a minute. Oops. So this is the second method. So you remember the first 3 lines will be the same. That first we take the input from the user, then we make a list, that string into a list and save it into the user input as list, and then we just reverse that list, right? So this much is the same. Now is we make an list, an empty, not a list, my bad, an empty string, okay, which name is reverse input. Now we give for loop. So we do for x in user input as list, right? So this was the user input as list, right? So if you see, if they had given madam, right? So the user input as list, it would still say madam, right? And right, and then first it's looping on that madam, right? So first, in the first time when the for loop runs, we are doing reverse input this empty string we made plus equals to x, we are adding x inside it, we are adding its whatever its element is, right? So in the first time, if it's madam, so and in the reverse list it would still say madam. So first it would add m in the reverse list, then a in the reverse list, then d in the reverse list, then a in the reverse list, and m in the reverse list. Okay, now we just simply check if user input is equals to reverse input, so we made this an empty string because we can't compare an list from a string, right? But we can compare a string to a string, right? So if the user input, the whatever the string the user had input, if it is the same to the reverse input string, then it would print yes, it is palindrome, as it would print no, it's not palindrome. So did you understand it? Alright, so let's move on. Before we move on, let me show you this example as well. Nurse run. No, it's not palindrome. Why did it get? No, it's not palindrome. I know the answer. This is a tricky one because you have to give nurses run, right? Because if you read it from backwards, then there is no S over here, right? So in the middle, that is why. Now here we are given nurse run. Now here we give nurses run, right? So it's getting, yes, it is palindrome. Okay, so now let me just comment up this method, method 2. Now we run method 3. Okay, where is method 3? Here it is. Remember this. Oops. Command this. Okay. So first we are taking an input string from the user, then we are making a list, that string into a list and saving it into the user input as list and then reversing that list. Now let's see. Now if you now we are making a reversed input. Okay, we are doing this. Basically empty string dot join user input as list. So that reverse list, we are joining that, and because we had given an empty string, right? We had given an empty string, so whatever was in the list, now we have joined that, right? Like, let me show you. If the user, oops, wait. 1 second. I take some time in writing because I'm a slow writer, but I am a chatterbox. I love talking. My friends, whenever I'm doing a meeting with them, they say that, hey, let me also talk. Oh my. Right, so I finally finished. Right. So if the user input had given madam, so that list which was reversed, it would come like here, right? Now because these are all these codes, and we have done empty string dot join, so now it would take out all these quotes and comma and join this fully and make it the normal madam, right? And obviously make it a string, right? Okay, so now we are just checking if the user input, the whatever the user has given the input, if it is the same to the reverse input, then it should print yes, it is palindrome, else no, it's not palindrome. So if you W A B C W is not a palindrome, so it shouldn't get no, it's not palindrome. Right, so this is working correct. And we have done our method 3. Now the method 4 is the most trickiest one and the most best one. So you have to listen attentively and carefully. Let me just uncomment this. Wait. So first we are importing the maths library. Remember from my Python maths video, for if we wanted to use the math library, first we import that library, right? So we have imported the maths library. Then as you know that you are taking an input from the user, right? But this time you are not making any list or anything. You're taking that the length. You're taking out the length of whatever the user has given. So because madam is most comfortable for me, so the length of madam is 5, right? So basically user input length value is 5. Okay. Now we make a loop counter variable and we do math.flow user input length 5. Why? Because 5, because we are doing whatever the length is, we are dividing it by 2. So if you divide 5 by 2, the answer will be 2.5, right? But this is from the point and the decimal, and if you remember what the flow function does is, a method does is that it just does it makes it into an integer to its lowest terms. So basically it removes the decimal part, right? So basically 5 divided by 2, if you remove and by using the flow method, so the answer will be 2, right? Okay, so loop counter's value is 2. Okay, loop counter variable. Now we are making two variables, y and flag, and both of those variables value is 0. Now you have to listen very carefully. Now we are doing for x in range loop counter. So loop counter's value was 2. So the range will be 0 and 1, right? Because it is a list of numbers till 2, so 0 and 1, right? So we are doing y minus equals to 1. So if you subtract 0 by what do you say? If you subtract wait, y is minus equals to 1. So if you subtract 0 by 1, you get the answer as minus 1, right? So we have changed the value of y from 0 to minus 1 right now. Okay? Now we are doing if user input x. So if you remember madam, so x, so the first element, the 0th index, so it is m. So if it is not equals to user input y, so minus 1, user input y, y's value is minus 1, and minus 1 is the negative indexing, right? And in Python it thinks it's from the it's for using the last element, right? So basically m and m, right? By user input x, m, and by user input y, m, right? Now it's saying if they are not equals to, if they are not the same, okay? But here m and m are the same, so it does not go in the if statement, and it sees if and then just once again does the for loop and check is with a and a, so they both are also the same, and it just leaves d, right? Because that was this till d, it was not long this much length. And why should it do it as well? Because d will always be equals to d only, right? So so we didn't go in this if statement only because this was the false if statement. So if we see if flag is equal to 0, so yes, flag's value did not change. So madam is palindrome and it prints it, right? Now if you take a san, right? S-A-N, san. So the first the 0th index and the minus 1, the last index, is not the same. S and N are not the same, right? So it would go inside the for if statement, and it would change the flags. Oops, sorry, that was my pen. And it would change the flag value from 0 to 1, right? And then break, come out of that for loop, and then now this if statement is wrong because flag's value is now 1. So it goes in the else statement and prints no, it is not a palindrome, And we are done. We have done our palindrome code, guys. And this was so easy. We have done 4 methods. It was so easy and we did it so fast. Did you have fun? Comment down below which was your favorite method. Mine was the 4th method because I just loved it. It's very complicated and I love complicated things and hard things. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye. Stay safe, stay healthy and keep watching my videos. Dab, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Bye guys. Dab.